After Uruguay voted to legalize marijuana for not just medicinal use, but recreational use as well, it seems like it's having a domino effect on other Latin American countries. The next Latin American country considering legalization is Argentina. In fact, they have a very, very open-minded anti-drug czar, which sounds like an oxymoron there, but he did speak to the press and he said the following: Argentina deserves a good debate about this. We have the capacity to do it. We should not underestimate ourselves. And he must be listening to the people, because recent polls indicate that the people of Argentina are very open-minded about legalizing marijuana. In fact, in Buenos Aires, about 81% say that they're in favor. In Santiago, it's 79%.
That's a priest.
Yes.
In Argentina. Who said that? The drug czar, the anti-drug czar. Which, by the way, at least they're correct about it. We called the guy a drug czar. It's really an anti-drug czar. Yeah, they got it correct.
Yeah.
We're too dumb.
Although ironically, he's
Now
not as anti-drug as our
Right,
drugs are.
exactly, totally,
So look, it goes to the power of an idea, right? And you just get something started, and you never know where it goes. So Mujica in Uruguay, by the way, this is very interesting. In Uruguay, the legalization idea was far less popular. In fact, it was unpopular. 2/3 of people in Uruguay were against it, which is really interesting, right? Whereas in Argentina, obviously in the big cities, it's far more popular. But even though it was, unpopular, Mujica was like, I can't do it. I love you guys, and he's a real populist, and represents the people. And he said, but look, in order to look out for you as a leader, what I have to do is make sure we lead in this direction. He starts leading, and all of a sudden, some dominoes start falling, and next thing you know, everybody might go, well, they did it in Uruguay, and and then they thought about it in Argentina, and next thing you know, people go, oh yeah, that was really dumb. Why did we do that for 50 years?
And originally I was a little torn about the idea of the politicians not representing their constituents, right? Going against what they want. But at the same time, I think the sign of a true leader is one who knows what's best for his country. And in this case, Mujica is absolutely right. He's taking the power away from the cartels. It will minimize drug violence, at least when it comes to marijuana. And I love that it's having that domino effect. And think about how courageous that was for him to do. The U.S. will deny foreign aid to countries that refuse to comply with the war on drugs. So it was very, very ballsy for him to do that. And I'm very curious to see what happens in Argentina. Chile and Peru might also consider it in the future, because they have relatively lax laws on marijuana as well.
And you got to give the right context too, in terms of whether you listen to the polls or not, right? So if you're a person who's financially benefiting or helping other people financially benefit by not listening to the people, that's a different context. Mujica gives back 90% of his salary, and I believe is the poorest president in the world. Okay, and it's not like he's rich and he's giving away 90% of his salary. He doesn't have any money, right? He barely has one rundown car. And so he has a track record of listening to the people, delivering for them, not having an ulterior motive. And on an issue like this, he says, look, if you want to vote me out, I hear you, but I'm going to lead, right? And in that context, it's incredibly brave and might have worldwide ramifications.
Now, you keep talking about, the legalization of pot and then the domino effect. Now, I know about smoking pot and having a dominoes effect, which is a little different.
Right.
I've had that a couple of times. I've been waiting for 10 minutes to do that joke.
Any crazy topping combinations that you want to share with the audience?
No, they're using real cheese now, just in case you haven't seen the commercials.
Is that right?
Big news,
What was
dominoes.
happening before?
That's what I'm saying. What were they using before?
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say about that. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I don't feel as strongly about legalizing marijuana. I never have, because I don't really smoke it, and it just seems like it seems as there's such a passion for it that I guess I wish were on other issues.
Well,
but that said, I would never stand. I'm on the right side. Go.
I could, they don't need to legalize it. As for what I wish they would do is decriminalize it, because, for instance, 70% of all women in Latin American prisons are there because of being drug mules.
Yes.
70% of all women in Latin American prisons are there for drug offenses, and most of them were drug mules for their boyfriends and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
70% of all. So that's why it's a big deal. If it was just an inconvenience to smoke pot and I would get slapped on the wrist or something, that wouldn't be. But it is a big deal because I have a nephew who got caught smoking pot. Now he can't be a teacher.
Oh.
Right? So now he has to go in the middle of Missouri, and he's some kind of land engineer bullshit. I don't know what the fuck. But he had to go to Korea so he could teach English to kids because they wouldn't let him teach. He can't get his credential here in the States because he got caught smoking pot.
On the upside, he probably fucked a lot of.
That's what I
girls.
say. He's getting a lot of that Asian stuff
Okay.
is smooth.
So that's unacceptable for me to say. But anyway, last two things on this. Look, two reasons I'm for legalizing pot. Number one, it's just like am I that? Do I care that much about the embargo against Cuba? No, it's a minor issue to be honest, right? But it's just so fucking stupid. Like it hasn't worked for so fucking long. How stupid are we, right? And then the second thing is, I really became far more animated about this after the war on drugs wound up killing 60,000 people. Now it's 70 and rising in Mexico. Like when Calderon did his war on drugs, and the gang violence got so out of control. You lose 60,000 people, man. Think about that. In Iraq, our soldiers, we never hit 5,000. I mean, when you talk about casualties, it's more. When you talk about Iraqi civilians, it's far more. But we lost, let's just say, roughly about 5,000 kids there, right? They lost 60,000 in Mexico because of that dumbass war on drugs.